January 19th, 2023. This is the 2000 tick chart of the Emini on ThinkorSwim's PaperTrader. So as you recall, the last couple of days there were some pretty big sell-offs. Today felt like it was kind of in a big trading range. A lot of choppy things happened. I didn't get too many I didn't get too many high probability trades, but I did kind of break a few rules and got a little impatient at kind of back here, and I'll show you those trades in a bit. So this is what it looked like with all the lines drawn in. And I will now go in and take a look. So in the pre-market, there was a kind of a trading range here. Of course, I don't trade the pre-market, and then I saw a trend going down. So I'm just going to go ahead and move along since I don't trade the pre-market. This is where the open was, right when the market opened on regular trading hours. As you can see, as we crawl along, I have this trend line already established because I had 3 good swings plus this upper line. So I kind of drew this based off of these. And then fortunately it touched a few times. I might have had it slightly lower and had this as an overshoot, but as it confirmed, I kept it here. So as you move along, you see that I actually have a move down. There's a first entry and a second entry. I didn't take this trade because I don't like how this is below the EMA, even though it is touching this going up. If I were to take a trade, I'd probably take it not only above this by 1 tick, but probably if it broke above the EMA. It did end up working out, but I didn't like it. There's a lower high here that's actually a better entry because it broke below. I wouldn't have taken it on this break. I'd probably take it on the next candle over. Well, you have to take it on the next candle over. And it would have been enough for a scalp. I wasn't prepared because it's a little early in the morning and I didn't take the trade, but it has pretty good key entry of the EMA and the bottom of the trading channel. So moving along, prices keep moving up, kind of comes back down, and then it's coming back to touch the EMA, breaks through the EMA. At this point, I just point out that I don't have these bigger trend lines drawn yet, but I do have this one coming down. So I know it broke through here. I wasn't sure if it's going to go up and test, but since it moved down so much and it's below the EMA, I don't think it was going to come up again. It's probably going to start its own trading range. And it stayed below the EMA and it kind of went back above the EMA. So right here, I saw a second entry short. Comes down here, comes here. So at this point, I do draw this bottom of the trading range. And you see where this dotted line is? That's where I had my first trading range originally, this dotted line. Later, I moved it up to here, and I made this dotted line kind of the center of these two. But at this point, there's just this dotted line and this lower level, and I saw it as a breakout. The second entry short, I didn't take it, but it would have worked out. Certainly worth a scalp as it comes down. This purple line is just for reference. It's the VWAP. And it comes down, and then it goes back up. And now it's violating this dotted line, which I had my trading range. So I wasn't sure if it was still valid, but it broke out a second time, right? So now it's moving up, comes down. Here I see a second entry long. If you count this as a high, to be the first entry long, then a second entry long. This is pretty big. It's also a failed second entry short. As it goes up, makes a failed first entry short, and then it comes down, breaks below this guy by 1 candle, second entry short. But to take this entry, I would have to have either taken it on the engulfing right here at the EMA, but the EMA is pretty sideways. And also at the time, this dotted line was saying that that was the top of my trading range. So when it broke above, I don't know if it's going to break back below because it made a lower high. It kind of got progressively lower. So I left that trade alone. Ended up working out pretty well. And at this point, I draw this and I drag it up to here because I figured, okay, this isn't really acting like a true trading range. You could have had a smaller sub trading range here and then draw a bigger one here, but I just kept it all as one and I called this the midpoint of the trading range. Also at this point, I saw there's probably 2 swings, so I drew this bottom one and then I just kind of tossed this up here because it did confirm a second one here. But this, I don't give it too much credibility at this point yet because it's very, very wide. But I just have there as a guiding reference point. It comes down. It is respecting it, so it gives me a little confidence that at least this top one's probably pretty good. This bottom one still has yet to be confirmed. It moves down. I draw the second trading trend channel, and it's going down. I probably had it tighter, cutting through here first, and then as it broke through and it kind of stayed below, I didn't like it acting as an overshoot, so I dragged it out and made it touch here. And then when it touched here a second time, then I was pretty more confident that it was more valid. It goes down. This is second entry long. It goes from here, comes down, moves first one, second one. This one is actually probably a pretty reasonably good trade because it is very bullish. It's very far from the EMA. And at this point, remember, I still had this trading range established early on from here. And then I did have this one, but then I extended it up to here and picked the middle point, which is this guy right here. So this would have been worth a shot, but I didn't take it just because I didn't think about it or understand it in real time. So I missed that trade where it worked out for a scalp and then at least kind of got a runner. Then it moves up. Now it breaks out this top part. It's overshoot. But at least I know, okay, well, it touched here and it touched here, so it's kind of valid. It might come back down. It breaks out and it does come back down. Comes back down and touches the EMA. Not only touches the EMA, it breaks through. So that's a good indication. So at this point, I drew this lower part of the trading range, trend channel here, and then this dotted line is the top part. And then later I figured out that it actually has to go up higher, but this one didn't come into play yet, this one right here. But I do know this dotted line, which was solid at the time, and this solid. So it looked like it was respecting it all the way down. And again, it's touching this lower part of my trading range. And as I can tell at this point, it looks like the whole market is just trending in a middle point, kind of horizontal, moving sideways. So I just kind of kept that in mind as I kept moving prices. And it breaks down, breaks below this support, and it moves back up. It moves back up strongly above the EMA. And it goes above the EMA, but then it comes right back down. So I did see a second entry short. The second entry short I didn't take because I wasn't sure how strong this was. I do know it made a low, followed by a lower low, and then another lower low here. So it in hindsight probably was pretty good to take because it was a breakout of this trading range, which should have been this dotted line. At the time, it was solid, so it was just this as a trading range, broke out, and this would have been a decent trade, but at the time I couldn't process it all correctly because I wasn't sure, okay, is it really going to bounce up? Is it going to go through? I'm not sure. So I ended up not taking the trade. And then it moves down. Moves down. It seems to be respecting this dotted line as a support now. So that's how when I kind of drew, drew or actually dragged up this from the dotted line up here and then made the dotted line the center of this trading range. It kind of went down. So far, it looks like it's now on the upper part of this two-part trading range. And it comes down, makes a new low, and it finally bounces up and goes through the EMA again. So now I have a second entry short right here. Felt very aggressive because if the next candle I take one candle below, well, this guy's kind of trending up. I drew this trading range going up. I don't know if it's going to bounce because it's still within here. It's not quite high probability yet, and it does break through. So if I did take it, I probably would have been enough to get a scalp. I didn't take it though, left it alone. Now I see a second opportunity. So it did break. I know it might want to make a new high here, but it might want to make a new low here. So it is a second entry long. I don't know which way it's going to go. So it would have been aggressive for me to try to take an entry right here below the EMA. And now that this candle is finished, it is very aggressive to try to take a one tick above to see a continuation. So I left that one alone. Ends up actually working. So I missed out, but that's okay. I just want to try to stay, with my rules and not just take an entry on hope. And then I draw the other trend channel going up. And at this point, this is when since I already have this, I see it confirmed here. So it confirms kind of a third time. Gives me more confidence when I drew this. So okay, I confirmed that it touched 3 times, even though it overshot. And it touched roughly 3 times here, even though it overshot down here, broke down lower. So it goes, I draw this other trend channel early on, and I'm watching it, and I'm wondering if it's going to test the EMA, and it keeps breaking through like the EMA wasn't even there. And then it gets into a trading range again. Although it's respecting the EMA as resistance, right here I see a second entry long, first entry long, then a second entry long, but it fails. So To take an entry here for a short would be very risky because right now I'd be going into the low of the day, which is right here. So that'd be a very risky, aggressive trade. Doesn't mean it can't, but it also could just bounce back up and stay within this trading range. So I left that trade alone, and it would have worked if I took a short, but I didn't know that at the time. It kind of settles into another trading range. And this trading range kind of loses it pretty quickly, comes back up, and then now I have a second entry short right here, first entry short, and then a second entry short. But it fails because this is kind of a big candle that breaks below and moves right back up. If I was more aggressive, I think I could have taken an entry up here, but I left it alone because again, I'm not sure. And then it does go up. I probably missed a reasonably good trade. Comes up and I'm watching it test this guy again. Now it's like a fourth test. Comes down, respects the EMA, which is confusing because throughout the day it's above, then it's below, it's above, and each time it respects it on one side, then it respects it on the other side. Other time it just breaks right through. So in this case, it's just I have to be very cautious of what I'm taking a trade on. So right here, it's respecting. Not only that, it breaks through this big trend channel now. So now I'm going to wait and see if it's actually going to keep going. Goes up. I take a second entry short here because here is a first entry short, second entry short. I like this because it looked like it made two legs up and it broke out of this very strong down channel. So I expect it to probably get at least to the EMA. So I took this trade here and it turned out to work out for me. This is the first trade of the day. And I was pretty happy with the results because I did get a runner. So I'll show you the trade there. Took it at 39.17, which is right here. And then I was able to get my runner. And I was wondering if it's going to hold the EMA or was going to break through. And it breaks through. And then I took my runner here, which kept about roughly right here at 13.75 because I kind of dragged the runner, follow the highs all the way down. And then moving on, prices just again get choppy again. And I'm waiting for a pretty long time and I only got one trade off. And then it moves up and makes a measured move, goes up one leg, then a second leg. This is a second entry short. It's kind of a hidden second entry short because you go one, there's a first entry short here, then a second entry short. It's kind of aggressive because it's within this, and now the trend could be kind of changing momentarily to a bullish bias. So I didn't take that trade, and then as you see, it does fail and come back, but it respects it. Here's lower high, which confirms a second entry short if it continues moving down. So the next subsequent candle I watch, it does break down below. So if I did take it here, there's enough room just barely to scalp out for 1 point, but I decided to wait on it because I wasn't sure. Today was kind of a confusing day for me. This is a failed second entry long. So first entry long, second entry long, then it fails. I tried to take a trade here, but I didn't get filled. My entry is a little bit slow because as this is oscillating, I finally decided, okay, it's a good trade to take. I put it here, and then it just kind of went without me. So no trade there, but it would have been reasonably good trade. Here is the second entry long. It's hidden because I started the count here. It's double top. So I said first entry long. And within this candle, it actually has the second entry long because when you start from here, it goes up. You notice that it opens here, does stuff, and closes here. Then it opens here. This candle does stuff, but it eventually closes here. So it would be the first entry long here. Then it comes back down, and then it opens right where it closes, and it goes back up. So this is where the second entry long would be. So that's where the hidden second entry long would have been. I didn't take it, but it would have been a so-so trade, but I didn't see it at the time, so I didn't take it. And it moves up. And so at this point, I draw this as a swing, and then I kind of drew the top here. It's a little off, but it's, reasonably close. Moves up, respects it. Here I'm watching it breaks through. This is actually a second entry short. It's aggressive and it's counter trend because the trend is moving up now. So to take that short would be counter to the current direction of the price action. So I didn't want to take it, even though it was an overshoot. I wasn't sure because I also have this guy going up. All things considered, if I'm more experienced, I've seen this play out more often. I might have taken it, but I wasn't there yet, and I'm not there yet. So it comes back down within the trading channel, comes back down, forms another trading range. It's oscillating back and forth. I see a second entry long here and a failed breakout. Failed breakout because this bottom line was actually a little higher when I first drew it. So I thought, okay, it's a failed breakout. It's might be worth a trade, and it would have been. Then it makes a measured move twice up, and this is where I thought it was another failed second entry long. This isn't a good trade in hindsight, and I ended up losing because it is counter trend. It is already close to the top, so I don't know how much more I thought I could have scalped out. So when I took this trade, I got burned. I ended up having a losing trade, so I had one winner and one loser now. And then it goes up, and at this time of day, I didn't take that many trades for the whole day, so you're going to see that I got a little bit, I guess, careless in my rules, and I ended up taking more trades than I should have. So it moves along, and you see it kind of develops a trading range, or what I thought to see is a trading range. And this is where I took the second entry long. This is a little bit aggressive because it's coming up again against this possible top of the trading range. This one actually worked out for me. So then I was able to scalp out a profit, but it is high risk, even though it is going with trend. So I don't think in hindsight it should have been taken. I should have just left that one alone, like I should have left this one alone, because it is pushing against the highs already. So I move along, and then it comes back down, tests the lower part of this trading range, and now I decide all of a sudden I'm going to take a failed second entry long. Now, this is obviously going up, so I'm taking a short here. This is a counter trend. So this is, bad judgment. Again, I get stopped out. I take it at 34 and I get stopped out at 37 because I took it right here and it shoots up, takes me out right at the next candle. So there was no purpose to take this trade, even though I did. Then prices keep moving. And then this is a brain fart. I'm not going to talk about this trade. I shouldn't have taken this trade, so I got out of it immediately. So it's pretty much a scratch trade. It didn't lose. I think I just got one tick profit to cover commissions, but there's no point in taking that trade. This one here is going to go down. It's a first entry short, second entry short. So here it's a little confusing. Right now it's a trading range. It looks like it's going to break out and pull back, but as soon as it went back out, that's when I took the entry. So I took the entry here, right here, 31.75. 31.75 is right here, one tick below, because I noticed, okay, it opened, and this is on engulfing, so I was lucky it got picked up, and then I was able to get my scalp and my runner. So it broke out of this trading range, and I don't think this trading range is going to hold anymore. So I took that trade, and it ended up working. And as prices keep moving, I tried a short here. So it was first entry short here, followed by second entry short. This is a little premature because it didn't come back up to the EMA. And I took it and I got burned on it. So I'll show you the trade. Set me back. I took it at 31.75 and then I got stopped out, which right now at this point, it's a little too choppy to take this trade. So that was kind of a lesson learned. After that loss, I decided, okay, well, I've gotten 3 positive trades, 3 negative trades, and 1 scratch trade. I should just leave things alone and leave with a little bit of red. And then as you see, the rest of the day, it just kind of trended down and closed. So I want to point out something. As you can see here, I took one good trade here. It's good setup, valid. There's some things I missed, and this is toward the end of the day. This is with only about an hour and a half left in the market. And as you can see, I got impatient, which is something I need to work on still. I ended up taking 1, 2, 3, scratch, 4, 5 additional trades, all within this span of 1 hour. So you look at this and you know immediately there are probably it's very unlikely there are 5 high probability trades in here. So all these trades, I shouldn't have taken a bunch of these, but I took them anyways. It's probably because I got impatient seeing some of these potentially good trades leave without me. And today was, for me, kind of a tricky day. All in all, if I had just taken this one trade and just watched and learned, I would have left positive. But since I took extra trades, I just ended up paying a lot in commissions, taking some, giving back, and pretty much not taking or following the rules I should have. This is more of a sit on hands type of area. So that's how I saw the markets today. Thanks for watching.